Hello, everybody. Old Buck Dave back here again with a wintry episode 170 Two Old Bucks, and I've got a buck with me, and I've got a vixen with me. So, talk to me, folks.
Oh, okay. This is old Buckdale.
And Vintage Vixen Judith.
Vintage Vixen Judith. Welcome.
Yeah, we're all here with you.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on today.
17170.
170. We're
Isn't
close.
that interesting?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it, huh? Anyway, so yeah, I'm here in Nashville now. We got called on a kind of an emergency babysitting mission. Both my son and his wife had to go out of town, different directions. And so they said, "Can you come?" We said, "Sure, we can come." And then as we were driving up here, they said, "Can you come earlier than we planned because this and that, blah blah blah." So we canceled our hotel that we were going to stay in the first night, like between Atlanta and Chattanooga. And it was a one of these use it or lose it kind of deals. But I called the hotel, and I got a woman, Miss D. She was so nice. She said, I explained, and she said, "Hey, life happens. We'll just cancel this, and we'll pretend this never happened." So I thought that was real sweet of Miss D. So
yeah.
Shout out to Miss D at the Hampton there.
So the two of you were basically in snow, correct?
So we drove straight through. Yeah, we got here. It was like a little over 11 hours. Of course, I had to drive over the Appalachians there, and it was 14 degrees and blowing, and snow piled up along the side of the road. And of course, Nashville got 6 inches of snow or so a couple of days before we got here, and most of it is now compacted firmly on the city streets. So plus they got a little light rain here that turned it into a nice sheet of ice. It's like, like the main roads are fine where they get a lot of traffic, but my grandsons joke. They said Nashville has 3 snow plows and 2 of them are always broken. So, and it was terrible out there. I had to take, they've got this big old dog, this Scottish deer hound. So I have to take it out on a leash, for it to do its business. And try crossing an icy street with a dog that's just about as big as you are. It decides where you're going to go. So, oh man, I was slipping and sliding, but we made it.
That is a hazard. I can tell you that's a hazard for an old gentleman down here who has a little rambunctious dog, and that dog has pulled him over at least twice.
Yeah, try it on ice.
Dry weather, yeah.
Try it on ice.
Well, be careful.
There were 2 cars that stopped just to watch the show. I swear.
He's going to fall.
They were being nice. They knew I was in trouble there. It's all good. It's all good. We're having fun with the grandsons. And speaking of the grandsons, we have an 8-minute tape that I made when they were at my house over the holidays, and we're going to tack that on at the end of here. So it's only 8 minutes. They're 7 and 9, or as they say, 7.5 and almost 10. So this may be the last time that I can, that they humor me and actually agree to do this. They used to beg to do this, and now it's like, oh, okay, we'll do it. But
they're growing up in front of your eyes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Jeez. Yeah, they were arguing about the names of the moons of the different planets, Jupiter and Saturn. It's like, no, Titan is Saturn's moon, not Jupiter's moon, and Jupiter's moon is Ganymede and such. Like, okay, I didn't know that in 2nd grade.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But you are still in snow, right, Dave? And Judith, you are also in snow, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm in snow, but I'm smart. I just hibernate. Even some of my church meetings went to Zoom this week, and we just sit in our cozy little houses. So
that's a good strategy.
Good
strategy. Yeah.
Yep. I've had 2 auto accidents in snow, so since I don't have to go to work anymore, if the roads are bad, I just don't go.
Not looking for reasons to go out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're staying pretty close to home too. I went down to Roy's, the meat store down the street, the local guy. and he was sold out of everything that I wanted. The only thing that I could find that the boys wanted was chocolate milk. So we got chocolate milk, and that was it. But
So
anyway.
kind of a it's almost like a hurricane thing or
Yeah,
storm thing where everybody rushes
yeah.
in
There's
and
a little
buys
bit
it.
of that. Yeah. So then I just went to Publix, and all was fine. Got what I needed there. Oh, yeah. Life in the slow lane here. It's fine. It's great. It's fun.
Isn't it interesting the comparison? What snow does to the folks in, say, that part of the country, and
Oh yeah.
what the wind and the potential storms do to us, how
Yeah.
we act to,
Yeah.
stocking up on water or whatever. And Judith, I think if you don't have to go out, as long as the heat stays on, I mean,
Yeah, that's the big question. But then I'm
yeah.
part of a retirement community, so if everything really went out, I would just go up the hill and they would find a place for me in the
Oh,
big building.
nice.
So
Nice. In the big
I've got
building.
backup.
You got backup. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad to know that. That's a good thing to do, because there's social activities there, and certainly everybody can at least bundle up and sit down and talk during the,
Hmm.
if you run out of heat or something.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in an individual house, but
Yeah.
I've always got the main building that they will take care of me, whatever,
Back
for the
to the
rest of
big
my
house.
life, I guess.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
But hey, Judith, you mentioned something about back roads.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad roads here, tell us your
Well,
feel.
Dale was talking about, the driving when you get older. And the last few years, I have deliberately chosen to drive back roads almost everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much more enjoyable. Um, I took a trip to Eastern Pennsylvania early in the fall, and going out, I did go on highways. I refuse to drive toll roads. I'm too cheap. I just won't pay tolls. But I was on, interstate highways.
Uh-huh.
And by the time I got there, I was totally exhausted because, you're dodging trailer trucks and all this other stuff and finding the right exit, and you've got to go a certain speed, and it's very, it's not fun. So coming back, I got on Google Maps and I said, avoid highways, avoid tolls. And it took me through horse farms and the Amish country and through pretty little towns. And it only took maybe a half an hour longer, but
Yeah.
it was so much more enjoyable.
Kind of
And
smelling the
so,
roses, huh?
so I've been doing that. I'm just kind of made it my policy now that unless there's some urgent reason why I have to be someplace, I'm going to allow a little extra time and just drive the back roads. Plus, because everybody else is in a hurry and takes the freeways and the turnpikes, there's hardly any traffic. It's some places, you can go for miles and miles and not see another car. So it's like having your own private driveway through beautiful
Private highway.
countryside.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
um,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just much more enjoyable.
You don't have to be at work by 8, so
Right, right, right. Now,
nice. Nice.
one rule that I've made for myself though is because I like to drive the speed limit or a little slower, and most people don't do that. So if I notice cars backing up behind me and I have a place where I can pull over, I will pull over and let those other people go by. And I think that's just reasonable because then I'm not tense with all of them lining up behind me and they're not, they're happy too. So that's one of my rules. Um, be sure you have a lot of gas because sometimes it's pretty far between gas stations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a point.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's interesting some of the things you find because I was driving through a part of Pennsylvania I'd never driven through before, and I came to a place where they had elk crossing signs. And I'd never seen that before. I mean, all around here, you're always watching out for deer, and I'm very
Yeah.
cautious about that. But never saw an elk crossing before, and I was a little apprehensive because I think they're bigger than
Yeah.
deer. And
Bigger than deer. Yeah.
so,
Gosh.
you
Yeah.
sometimes you find some unexpected things like that. But on the whole, the trips are much more enjoyable and
Yeah.
much more relaxing if you just take a little extra time. So, that's my tip for the day, I guess.
That's a good public service announcement there.
Yeah.
Well, Judith, the other day I had an option of an interstate and a parallel road that has more stop signs and more traffic lights, but I chose the not to ride on the interstate because you really have to have some courage to be going those speeds, and with some road construction. And I think over time I've just lost the will to risk
Lost
my
the
life.
thrill.
No,
Huh?
it's risky.
Yeah.
It's risky. 80 mile an
Yeah.
hour. You're hoping nobody stops in front of you, and even if they do, you run the risk of 4 or 5 car lengths
Yeah.
running into somebody. So that's just the way we cope with the time, right? The time passing, and it's one of the things that's what you use to cope with. And
Yeah.
said,
Well, and also it's just more enjoyable. I mean, when you're on an
Yeah.
interstate, I've driven all the way across the country on an interstate. And unless you're in some mountains or some very unusual scenery, you could be in Pennsylvania or Colorado. They all look the same.
wouldn't
They've
know
all
the
been
same.
built with, usually in an area that's not as populated. And so there's nothing to see. It's just, the same highway on and on and on. When you take the back roads, you actually see things that are beautiful, you
Mm.
know? So
Well,
it's just, it's just more of a pleasure trip to me when you're taking the back roads.
well, let me make a recommendation to you. If you ever get down the Nashville way, a couple years ago we drove the Natchez Trace, which is
Ooh.
from Nashville to Natchez, Mississippi, and
Mhm.
it's a 2-lane road. It's a 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. Commercial vehicles are not allowed on it, and it's beautiful and it's relaxing ride. It's wonderful. And my car, which it was kind of a big car, it got 42 miles to the gallon on that trip.
Wow.
Yeah. So listen, do we want to go to letters from afar here? We've got several letters.
Yeah, who's writing in, Dave? What kind of mail are we generating?
Well, we are getting mainly on the podcast that Paul sent us, that Paul Treguet sent us, his discussion with his buddy Buzz. So here's the first one. It says, I appreciated your recent podcast on the remarkable aid mission in Ukraine. The passionate support for the cause is truly noteworthy. That's a real nice letter. Here's another one. Just finished listening to Paul and Buzz. Very interesting stuff. I can't imagine being a 40-year-old on the front line, or even really old guys like us doing it. So yeah, honest. I think he had said that they're not drafting anybody under 25 at this point. So
You mean the Ukrainian?
the Ukrainians, yeah. Now here's another one. Really like the Buzz podcast. They sound like such great people. By the way, I thought Reality Winner was with the NSA when all that went down. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of lost my train of thought at the beginning of the movie there. So, but that was another 2 thumbs up for the Buzz and Paul podcast there. And here's the fourth. We got several of them that said, "Hey, nice, really nice, good guys." And here's nice. How brave those 2 guys are. I know their seats are waiting for them in heaven. And I sent this to Paul, and he reiterated once more that they said, "Hey, we're not the brave ones. The soldiers are the brave ones." But they did do a fine thing. So really, hats off to Paul and Buzz and the other men and women that were involved in that.
Well, thank those listeners for commenting. We always like to, get an opinion on what we were doing. And to all those that we put to sleep nicely before the podcast is over, we want to thank them for tuning in too.
Yeah. Hey, listen, are you ready for a Stump the Buck?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay. And again, you can use Judith as a lifeline here. So, okay. So this is a routine event or procedure. Okay.
Okay. This is the topic. It's a routine event.
That's the topic. Yeah.
Or procedure.
All right. Here's the first clue. More important for me than for you.
A routine event is something to do. It's something to do. Is it invasive? It's something to do with an internal organ. How's that sound? Is that
It,
close?
it is not. It is not.
Huh.
Okay. So
Another
you
clue.
want another clue? Okay. Some people do it themselves.
You made your own
You're
dentures.
thinking, get your mind out of the gutter.
What do you think? What do you think he's talking about, Judith? Give me a clue.
Well, then when you said the thing about dentures, I see the thing on TV where you don't need a dentist anymore. It's not that.
It's not,
You,
it's
you,
not
Oh
pulling
my
your own
soul.
teeth. It's not pulling your
no,
own
no,
teeth.
no. People who have missing teeth are they send them something. You take an impression, you mail it in, and they mail you back your dentures. That's not it.
No kidding.
I didn't even know about that.
Oh, it's advertised on TV.
There's another
I
public
can't
service.
imagine it.
I didn't see that. I've
No.
never seen that. Okay.
Okay.
That's not all right. I'm going to give you the third clue, and I know you're going to get it on this clue. Tussie Toscano and Stan Sanner.
Tussie Toscano and
Tussie Toscano and Stan Sanner.
I think maybe I know what it is.
Sounds like a
Help them out, Judith.
Is it a do-it-yourself haircut?
Haircut. It's a haircut. Yes.
Okay.
So you did one yourself. I've been doing that for years.
No, well, not necessarily do it yourself, but it's the event is a haircut. I say it's more
the event is
for me than for you. If people just look at our podcast logo, they'll see why. Some people cut their own, and of course, Tussie and Stan, Dale, if you recall, they were the barbers back in town when we were kids. They were the main guys. And
That's when I actually enjoyed going to the barber shop because there was some hair to cut. But man, I just buzz it down. And Iris says, "You can't go out looking like that." And she has to trim it up over there. Where all
Tussie and Stan, and then Stan went out, he worked for Tussie, and then he started his own shop down the street. Yes, and of course Stan his notoriety was he was a sportsman. He was involved in stocking the Yawk and bringing it back to life and all that sort of thing.
I wonder if the barbershop thing, it can't be the same as it was. And I mean, that was a local barber cutting in a small town, cutting local, people. And I'm sure that was same with the hairdressing salons. It was the same customers and you went there, you talked, I don't think it's like that anymore.
I guess it depends where you go. I couldn't remember Stan's last name, so I wanted to give you all the hint that I could here. So of course I went down the Google rabbit hole, and what popped up was a story about another barber, Don Lux.
Oh yeah,
Don Lux.
Yeah.
He opened his shop in '72. So we were out of there by then. At least Dale, you and I were.
Mm-hmm.
Judith, you were out of there too, right?
Yeah, I was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
But
I think the barber in town, the last I heard, the only barber left in town now is a woman.
I think that's the woman that took over Don's shop when he retired.
On Main Street
in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she and a young like a 23-year-old woman took over the shop, and she's giving haircuts. Yeah. I forget her name, but anyway, Dawn. I looked at Dawn as my protector.
Really?
Really. Here's what happened. Of course, when I was, while I was in college and I was coming home and in the summers and whatever, working back home, I used to go to, we used to go to a lot of bars. Even I was underage, and I had made fake cards and all that stuff. I guess it's okay. I think it's the statute of limitations is beyond that now. And we used to go to this.
I don't think I knew anything about this. This is all new to me.
Do you guys remember the Stone Castle?
Yeah.
Stone.
On 51.
Yeah.
On 51. Yeah. I used to go there. I used to go there like, every Saturday night, whatever it was. And
oh my soul.
Music and dancing and Don and a couple of his guys, they were, several years older than we are. But we could just kind of hit it off in there, and we'd see them all the time and blah blah blah. And one day some guy started giving me a hard time about something. I don't even remember what it was. I stepped on his foot or something, something silly. And this guy, he's right in my face, and he said, "We're gonna, and I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, we're gonna settle this outside." And Don walks over and steps between us. And he's a big, tall guy and hefty. And he said, "Is there a problem here?" And kid looked, and he says, "No, there's no problem." He left. So I always, whenever I get a chance, I bought Don a drink after that. He was a sweet guy. Well, he is.
He was a nice guy.
He's still with us. He's still alive. Yeah. But that's my Don Lux story.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I do have a public service announcement associated with haircuts, though, if we're ready for that.
Well, you need a proper barber to trim.
Well, I have a barber. I have a barber down here.
Yeah.
His name's William. He's from the Philippines. A great guy. I've only used, I've been using him for 6 months or so now, 8 months. And he remembers how to cut my hair every time. Really nice. And he's always, he's always talking, and I'm trying to answer him. And so he's trimming, he's doing the horizontal cut across the back of my head, trimming the hairline there.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me something, and I nodded my head forward and back. Oops.
Oh no.
I took a gouge, and he says, "Well, the hairline's going to be a little bit higher than we expected." So that's my public service announcement. Don't move your head when you're getting a haircut. Don't answer those questions.
Yeah, there's several things like that where you shouldn't nod your head or shake your head left or right or something while somebody's working on you.
Jeez.
So anybody read any good books or anything lately other than my adventures on the bus? That's the most funny thing I could to tell you about.
Well, I've got one that I just started. It's called First Friends by Gary Ginsberg. And it's about presidential best friends. Some of them are people I'd heard of before. Some of them aren't. It's not, I think there are 9 chapters in it, but it talks about the influence that a president's best friend had on his life and his presidency. And it's very interesting. One of the most interesting was Franklin Pierce and Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Whoa.
And they met in college, and they just remained lifelong friends. And Franklin Pierce was probably one of our worst presidents, but one of the reasons he got elected is that Hawthorne wrote this glowing biography of him.
Oh, that's funny.
And so it's so far I've read, I think, 3 chapters, but I really like it. He really did a lot of work, went back to old diaries and letters and things like that. And it's just kind of interesting how, what an influence a person can have who was not elected, was not political himself, but was a best friend of the president. So I recommend that one. I'm really enjoying it.
First Friends by Gary Ginsberg. Okay, we'll put a link to that. That's great. Yeah. So how far back did he go? What was the oldest president? Do you recall?
Well, Jefferson, he didn't do every president. He only did 9. I hope he does another book. I'd like to hear more. But the oldest one he did was Jefferson, and his best friend was James Madison.
Oh,
and I think the most recent
didn't they die
one,
on the same day or something like that, within hours of each other?
No, I think that was John Adams. I think John Adams died the same day.
Yeah, they were.
And I think the most recent one was Bill Clinton. So it's a mix. It's a sprinkling of presidents over the years.
All right. Sounds like fun. That sounds like a good recommendation.
Yeah, good book.
Friends by Gary Ginsberg. Well, I don't have any book reviews, but I do have a movie review of sorts. It's called Anatomy of a Fall. If there was ever a 5-star movie, this is it. This is a movie you need to see. It's part of the movie's in English and part of it is in French with English subtitles. It came out in 2023, and it's a French kind of legal drama thriller. Now, here's the woman was just spectacular. She's a German actress. Her name is Sandra Hüller. And she was a writer who was trying to prove her innocence in her husband's death. Okay, they lived up in a kind of a chalet up in the mountains in France, and their son found him lying in the snow, dead, bleeding. Anyway, and the French got it in their head that she pushed him out, and so they go to trial. Now, one thing you notice is their legal system. If the movie is accurate with respect to the French legal system, it's a little different than ours. So there was a lot of evidence and things that and leading that really would not be allowed in the U.S. But anyway, but it's spectacular. She is just incredible. She really needs to win an Oscar for this. She probably won't, but I don't know how many people have watched, but it's just really spectacular.
And what made you even tune into that, Dave?
I think my sister-in-law told us to watch it, I believe. And it might have won something on the Golden Globes. I don't know. Maybe that was a flag that my sister-in-law or my wife saw. But boy, her performance was just incredible. She's in front of the camera like the whole movie. And
Wow.
these people are just grilling her, and she's trying to make a case. And anyway, I'm not going to give away the ending, but it was
The Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah. So great movie. We'll put a link to a trailer for that.
I think now there's a ton of very entertaining stuff that it just does not make it to the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually on a little screen or something like that. So interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Judith, I don't think I've ever mentioned my theory that we could eliminate a lot of the traffic problems if we simply made something like a roller coaster and just weaved it around through the building.
I like that idea.
And I tell you why I'm convinced even more so that this would be an ideal system. I recently spent a day walking around Busch Garden. I actually did 15,000 steps that day. We walked around it a couple times. But they have one roller coaster in Busch Gardens, Tampa, that is called the Cheetah. I would never have the courage to ride that thing. I could tell. I could tell when it went past me when it started. It was just way out of my league. But it's like a 4,000 feet of roller coaster, and it practically traverses the whole park. So if you took out some of the really, really high, hard twists and turns and some of the crazy stuff, you could cover a lot of territory without chowing all the ground space. Do you know what I mean? They actually the park was between the trees. It went this way between other buildings around. So I still think that's a viable option for traffic solution. However, I did want to say that I did ride a roller coaster when I was in Busch Gardens, and there is one in Sesame Street Land. There's one in Sesame Street Land, and me and a 7-year-old boy were on together, and I admit that that was high enough and fast enough for me.
And with that, are we ready to drift out of here? I think we've gone on a bit. I know I have. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, you might have to do some editing on this one.
I did. Okay, well, that's good for today, folks. This is Old Buck Dave one more time saying thanks again. Episode 170. After we all sign off, we'll tack on the little 8-minute interview with my grandson. So I hope you enjoy it all. Take care. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
And this is Old Buck Dale saying thank you very much for listening. Talk to you next time.
And this is Vintage Vix and Judith. Adios.
All right. Bye-bye. And this is Old Buck Dave back, and with me I have two of my very extra special guests. You've heard them on here before. They're podcast celebrities by now. These would be my grandsons, Gabriel and Grayson. You want to say hi to everybody first?
Hi.
And who are you?
Gabriel.
And how old are you?
Almost 10. I'll be 10 in January.
Hi,
What's your name?
Grayson,
And how old are you, Grayson?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Couple good guys here. So they're down here spending the holidays with us. We had a great Christmas. Got New Year's coming up here. Guys, you want to tell us about some of your presents you got, some of the presents that you liked for Christmas? How about you first, Grayson?
Well, I got a Hogwarts case.
And what exactly is that?
A Hogwarts case.
And what do you do with a Hogwarts case?
Well, you can technically just use it for a suitcase, really. That's what I'm
Hey, Gabriel, tell us about the Hogwarts case.
So it's full of Harry Potter stuff, like Harry Potter robes, Gryffindor scarf, a Harry Potter wand, chocolate frogs, every flavor jelly beans, that kind of stuff, Gryffindor lion. And, well, you could also put different stuff in there. And there's also a notebook, too. Yeah.
All right. And Grayson, what do you do with your equipment that you have in yours?
Well, we technically just use it to play Harry Potter so far.
Oh, okay. So you play Harry Potter. You guys look good in your Harry Potter robes, and you have your. Is that a magic wand?
Yeah, it is.
And hey, speaking of Harry Potter, now you guys have probably read some Harry Potter books. Gabriel, how many books have you read?
I'm on the 6th.
Wow, 6 books. How about you, Grayson?
I'm on the 4th.
Fourth and 6th. That's a lot of Harry Potter. So what do you like most about Harry Potter?
Well, it has, like, magic in it.
Okay. So in the books you read so far, what kind of stuff does Harry Potter do in these books?
He really just weakens Voldemort.
What do you think, Gabe?
So it really depends on which book you're talking about. It's different stuff. Every book. The first book, it's called The Sorcerer's Stone, and in the book, the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Professor Quirrell, is being possessed by Voldemort. Hid the Sorcerer's Stone in the basement, so Voldemort can use it, so he can live forever, because Voldemort is weakened. So Harry goes down into the no, not the chamber. Oh,
Well, you don't have to tell us the whole book.
okay, yeah.
That's pretty good, though. That was pretty good. So where did you guys go yesterday? I think you guys had a good time yesterday. Tell us where you went, Gabe.
We went to Busch Gardens.
So what happened to Busch Gardens?
We rode a bunch of roller coasters. Yeah, pretty much rode roller coasters, waited in lines, rode some more roller coasters. Okay, yeah, we ate lunch too.
Okay, and which ride was your favorite, Grayson?
This ride called Kumba. It had like 7 loops and 4 twists upside down.
Wow, did your dad go on that with you, or was he scared?
He went it on the first time he went on it, then the second time he waited out just because he didn't want to do it again.
So what about you, Gabe? Was that your favorite ride?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So what else did you guys do at Busch Gardens?
We rode some other rides, like the Serengeti Flyer. It's new. It's like a big swing. It swings like really high. It goes above the bar, and we ate lunch there too. I got a hot dog, and Grayson got a big turkey leg.
Wow, sounds like a delicious lunch. Hey, so let's change course a little bit here. Talk a little bit about school. I know that's your favorite subject. So Grayson, what is your favorite subject in school right now?
Math.
Tell us more about math.
We just finished a unit on line plots.
Line plots. Okay, nice. So what else did you guys get for Christmas here? What about you, Grayson?
Well, I got a ski helmet, a Nashville SC banner, and sweatshirt. I also got a French fry shirt.
A French fry shirt. That I like that French fry shirt. French fries coming out of the pocket. I like it. How about you, Gabriel?
Well, I got ski helmet, clothes, a lot of underwear for skiing, because, well, we're going skiing.
What about that game you got from Uncle Chris? How do you like that?
I like it, yeah. Steam Up Feast at Dim Sum game. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Tell us a little bit about the game.
So you technically just try to buy dim sum and get hardy points by how many points you get for dim sum. It's complicated. Just watch a video about it, and it's pretty easy.
So what do you think about it, Grayson?
Well, it's fun, and, well, you get to, like, choose a character, and every character has their special ability. And for some characters, it's like there's some kinds of dim sum that give them more points than the other ones.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy game. You take 2 turns and you move stuff around and you buy food and you get points, and it's pretty complicated game, but it was a lot of fun. You guys taught me how to play, so that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. So what kind of sports are you guys playing now? What about you, Gabriel?
I'm playing soccer and basketball.
And what about, I saw you playing some tennis while you were here. How about tennis? How do you like that?
I like it.
What about you, Grayson?
I'm going to start my basketball season sometime in January. And then I also like soccer, and playing tennis is fun too.
Okay. Do you guys have a favorite soccer team?
Nashville SC, because we're from Nashville.
Oh, Nashville SC. Is that South Carolina?
I don't think so.
What's the SC stand for?
Soccer club.
Soccer club, of course.
Obviously.
Silly me. Okay, that was a quick look at a quick discussion with Gabriel and Grayson, our 2 grandsons. So thanks for being here again, guys. Look forward to doing this again next year, get our annual podcast review. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. It was 10 minutes.